Drennan. And in today's episode, we are going to be sharing a story about a journey. Isn't it all about a journey being an entrepreneur? But we always are looking for that before, during, after. Like, everybody starts at zero, but no one remembers that. As we're going through and we're building out our business and we're being challenged, getting clients and implementing the systems, and then receiving the cash. And then we take the cash and then we just pay our bills. We got to stop doing that. We need systems in place for our money as well. But we need systems in place overall, like, having that business plan. The financial foundation is so important. So today we're going to be talking with Michelle. I'm sorry, I forgot to ask how to say her last name. So hopefully I say it correctly. Michelle Garnier.
Yep.
How'd I do? Awesome. I'm getting better at this, guys. You know how I love messing up words. But she has always been a hard worker, juggling multiple jobs. I know a lot of you out there love multiple incomes. After Hurricane Ian and Nicole, it caused mold damage in her home. So y'all know the hurricanes that hit Florida. She couldn't afford testing, so she offered to help with the work instead. And within months, she was promoted to assistant and gained firsthand insight into the demanding mold industry and the insurance world. And if you think about it, we get mold in our house all the time. It costs us a fortune because we think something else needs to be repaired and we never really address the root cause of the problem. And this mirrors so well with our businesses. So, Michelle, tell us what it was like. You said you couldn't afford to do this. My first guess is, how come insurance didn't pay for it? Because it was hurricane damage.
Yeah, so it was not covered because it was coming from the foundation being below ground. So it was not really like hurricane related, they say. And I said everything wrong. I said that it just flooded in and I don't have flood insurance. So yeah, I was denied right away. I decided I would do the restoration myself. I cut out the drywall, and I did a lot of the work myself, but I could not do the mold testing. I know there's test kits at Home Depot and Lowe's, but I want a professional. So yeah, I hired someone just to do that, and yeah, the price tag shocked me. So I figured I would try to work out a deal. I knew I couldn't pay a big chunk up front. I was a little embarrassed. So quick offering got me in the door of billing insurance.
I love your creative financing. I mean, I imagine it was like being in panic mode, right? Like, oh my goodness, I have all this damage from the storm. The insurance is denying me. I need to get it fixed. I can't live like this. And a lot of times we turn to our emergency fund. So it sounds like there was maybe a hiccup there. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I just never really had too much savings backed up. I Unfortunately, I try to get ahead by having roommates, but during COVID, they were protected by the COVID protection. So for like 6, 9 months, I got to see them hanging out at home, having pizza every night, Amazon delivery, but they did not pay rent. So yeah, I just had to keep working all these jobs to try to stay afloat. And then, yeah, this happened. So it's just, you don't get to plan ahead sometimes.
Yeah. And that causes a lot of stress, especially when you're depending on multiple income streams coming in. And then, you got these squatters. It's like, I'm sorry, this is not working for me. And I know a lot of landlords, I know a lot of people in the real estate business that went through that same thing. And it really, for a whole year, it's like nobody paid rent. It's like, well, wait a minute, everyone still has to eat and live. We can't just stop paying rent because we're having a pandemic. And some people still had to show up for work every single day. They had to physically go into work. So I imagine all that added stress. And we talked, not you and I, but I've talked to other entrepreneurs where we're relating health with wealth, and how when you have all that stress, your body just shuts down. You start to get physically sick. So did that affect you in any way while you were going through all of that?
Um, yeah, actually, I did a lot of work on my own, and I have friends, but I felt bad to ask for help, so I did a lot of heavy lifting myself, got materials to the house, and I got the help. But I ended up actually with getting 3 hernias. I had a bilateral hernia in the groin, and then the belly button. Um, it could be from other things as well, but they are estimating it was probably from all of that.
Yeah, I bet, because all that stress and, you all of a sudden you had income streams stop, the world shut down, you can't get help, your house is, basically
Flooding
not
with
paid
water.
for. Yeah, flooding with water, but, the mold, I mean, there's a lot of, information about how that affects your breathing abilities and, the environment, obviously. So when you negotiated with the insurance company, how did you ended up working for them? Is that what happened?
So it was actually the mold inspector that I had started working for. I just gave up with insurance. It wasn't really worth it. I didn't really have a claim because of how I told them. So I shot myself in the foot, really. So yeah, I was just working on his claims for him. He had a lot of claims he didn't have a lot of information on, whether the public adjuster just stopped working or I don't know what the circumstance was, but I was able to get those moved along to the point where he felt that I could help him with more things. So I started doing scheduling, route management, and I just added more to where I was pretty much running everything except the actual test. That was something that he did with the protocol.
So out of all this hot mess, you ended up with another income stream.
Yes, exactly. I something about working on these claims. I like connecting with the homeowner and letting them know that they can move back into their home. That's the most rewarding part for me.
Yeah, and that would be rewarding for everybody that's involved in that situation because, if anyone's gone through a natural disaster, they lose their home, it's, horrible because you guys be at the hotel, you're displaced, you don't have all of their comforts of being at home, everything that you're used to and it's in its place. And now you're, basically everything's shuffled and you're worried and the cost, I mean, to repair, rebuild and all of that. And then you wonder, is it safe? So now in hindsight, how will you prepare for something like this if it should happen again? Are you all set financially? Do you have that emergency fund set aside? You know what to tell the insurance people?
Yeah, now I know to first, and I recommend it for anybody, look over your policy first, see what is actually covered. From there, I would definitely have a mold inspector come out first. That way, you know exactly how much damage you are actually looking at. Then from there, it depends on how much your deductible is. So, yeah, I would say for homeowners, you want to make sure you have at least enough on your deductible for hurricane damage during hurricane season. That would be a smart idea, but always actually check out how much damage you actually have before submitting a claim because it could just be cheaper to fix it yourself.
Hmm. Yeah, because I know it when you submit a claim for insurance, a lot of times they'll raise your rate or drop you altogether, and then it's really challenging trying to get a replacement policy because you're considered higher risk. So a lot of people don't carry insurance if they don't have a mortgage. So what would you say to somebody like that?
You're definitely taking a risk, but personally, for me, I know for my own home, what I have had for damage, it's been fixable. I've done it now 2 or 3 times for the backyard. It sounds crazy. But with the amount you pay into insurance, yeah, it adds up quick. I guess
Hmm.
I would check in the history of your house, see if you have a flood zone, and really factor in all of the cost because you do also have to factor in the time that you'll be displaced from your house. It's going to cause more stress too. So you have to factor that in.
Yeah. And a lot of people, a lot of our listeners love to invest in real estate. So what is something that you can share with them that you've noticed doing this kind of work to what to look out for when they're investing in rental properties or Airbnbs?
Yeah, definitely get a real good home inspector. I recommend checking them out on Google reviews, Yelp, make sure they're great. You want to always check your property line, check to see where the foundation is, but most importantly, check to see that there's no slope. It's going away from your house. Because if you have a slight slope, if there's any buildup, it's going to go to your house no matter what, your gravity. So, yeah.
Yeah. One way to avoid the damage and save your money, right?
Yes, and there's so much more that these home inspectors can check. I heard about electric panel that had outdated parts inside of it that could easily catch on fire, and it was just a fire hazard. So yeah, always get a very thorough test if you have a water pump in the back. I don't have one of those, so I don't know what it's called, but that's another very important thing to check because they only last so many years, and you don't want to buy a house and then have to replace it.
Right. There's a lot of hidden cost in home ownership. And for those of you considering, investing in real estate, you want to factor in that cost when you're investing your money. They say location, location, location. And if you're in a flood zone and the home, isn't up to code, it could cost you a lot of money to repair or replace anything that goes wrong. So really do your research and your homework. When you think back about your situation, what would you have done differently with your finances to prepare for something like this?
To prepare for my finances, I think just setting aside like $100 a month. I know it's small, but it's something that at least after a year you'd have 1,000 and more saved up. But definitely, I recommend people get sump pumps for your house because you just never know when it might overflow water into your house. If I didn't have that, the damage would have been a lot worse. I saved it from going up a step into the rest of my house.
Oh, that's a smart move.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
if I didn't
know
have
sub
that,
pumps are, what's that?
if I didn't have that, I would have been in deep trouble.
Yeah, I know sub pumps are popular up north, especially if you live near the water, but I haven't seen too many in Florida. So that's a
Hmm.
really good point to have that because yeah, you have to bail water. When a natural disaster hits, you have to bail water. That's no fun, and water does a lot of damage. We always talk about, oh, well, what's worse, a windstorm or a water?
Yeah.
Mm, water causes a lot of damage. So, is there anything that you want to share about your business, or like, is this something that people can get into is this your full time job now, or is this still just one of your multiple income streams that you have coming in?
Yeah, it's one of the few that I'm trying to actually really grow. But yeah, I help mold inspectors and restoration contractors just follow up on their claims. Um, so yeah, I would like to grow it, especially on the post claim work. I have it where they only pay 10% down. So no matter what, they're only going to pay $20 if I don't resolve the claim for them. But that's only if it's like not going to be approved. The homeowner doesn't want to fight it. It's not something in my control. So yeah, it's a good
Hmm.
way to start if you need help with your billing insurance needs.
Yeah. So, if somebody wanted to get into this, what would you suggest that they do? What would be the first step?
Yeah, they can check out my website. It's www.claimtrackhq.com. It goes over everything that I offer, so that would be a good baseline for them to see what is available. And then they could send me an email to claimtrackhq@gmail. Um, if they need help with pre-admin, I can help. But if they're looking to submit a claim, they just send one claim per email, just like they would send that info to their public adjuster. So they're pretty used to how they send it out, so it'd be just the same.
Hmm. Sounds very simple.
Yeah.
Just a matter of getting that paperwork done. Well, thank you for sharing that. When you think about um, your financial journey and coming into this place of business that you now want to grow, what was the best piece of financial advice that you got that you can share with the audience?
To really research where you want to invest your money, I invested it into a BNI. I know some people have heard about that. And I feel like it really helped me to get a better structure for my company. So sometimes it's good to invest in your company. Don't be afraid to do it because good things might come out of it. Even today, I had a client whose brother does restoration work, and he's like, "Oh, this is perfect. Let me add him to the call." I'm like, "Oh, you don't have to add him today." He's like, "Oh no, he'll like to know." And yeah, he's sending me some claims later on next week. So yeah, it's a power BNI. It's pretty good.
Yeah. And can you tell the audience what BNI stands for, just in case they're not sure?
Yeah, so it's Business Networking International. It's pretty well known. It's international.
Hmm. Yeah, and it's a great way to network. Everyone says if you want to grow your business, network. And in-person networking is very powerful as well as online. But I know in person is just a different experience, a different flair. That's how we met. So it's kind of
Yeah,
fun. But when you think about really investing in your business and yourself, it's so important to invest wisely. And like you repeated several times, do the research and make sure that you know what you're getting into, before you show that dough, show that money.
exactly. Especially with home, like if you're getting work done, I always recommend 3 estimates for anything you do.
Oh, great advice. 3 estimates. I know one time we got 13 estimates. I was like, I told my husband, I'm like, do you not want to get this job done? Like, this is excessive.
Yeah, I'm kind of that way too, though, but 3 is the minimum.
Yeah. But definitely yeah, definitely. I tell, my clients all the time too, when they're looking for coaches or courses, I'm like, go through the sales funnel, go through at least three and see how you feel about it, what kind of questions you have, and how it's going to help you grow your ROI. And if you don't know that, then we don't want to invest in something that's not going to help us grow. Because, there's a lot of our listeners out there are shiny object girls like myself. And it's so important to get the facts, do the research, ask questions before you actually invest in whatever it is so that you are investing wisely. And especially when it comes to real estate, because you really want to know. I know during COVID, houses were selling like hotcakes, no inspections, no nothing. And I can't even imagine what some of the problems that may have caused for people.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, Michelle, remind us how people can connect with you again.
Yeah, so my phone number is 321-508-8091 if you want to call in. Otherwise, I have an email. It's claimtrackhq, like headquarters, at gmail.com. And my website has everything. And you can also look me up on Facebook. It has my most up to date updates for everybody on there. And it's just Claim Track.
Perfect. All right. So you guys heard it here first. You can check the show notes for the links. If you are needing assistance with any kind of mold inspection needs, you have damage to your home from water, what have you, contact Michelle. She'll be able to help you and get you on the right track. Because this is one of the most important things, especially as homeowners or as landlords, that we can do for ourselves to make sure that is safe and that we're investing wisely. Because it doesn't matter how much money you have,